Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be a kitchen declutter and organization video. This is probably going to be at least 2 days of working on this video, but I've been wanting to do this video for a while, so I'm starting today. It is already 6:30 when I'm starting, so today's probably just going to be doing like a cleanup, so tomorrow I can start bright and early with organizing everything. But I have dishes to do. That's what I'm working on now. I need to clean up this little area from where I did some baking today, and the flour went everywhere. But yeah. And then I'm going to do the floors as well, but that might also be tomorrow. And I want to clean out the pantry and reorganize it and actually do something with the bottom of it. And hopefully be able to do something with this table. Okay, so when I'm going to clean the kitchen, the first thing I always start with is the dishes and the stove and the cabinet or the counters. Mainly because that's just what works for me. I know everybody has a different process when it comes to cleaning and organizing and decluttering, but for me, everything has to be clean first for me to be able to accomplish anything else. Got the dishes done, stove cleaned off, the counters cleaned off a little bit other than like all the crap on them, and I got this counter wiped down. So I think that's going to be a start for tonight. Okay, so it's day 2 of my kitchen organization and declutter. I'm going to start today with the cabinets and the drawers on this side, and if I can do more, then we will. So I'm going to turn you around and get started. I'm going to start over here at like the entryway and go towards that door. It's just easier. Okay, so this one doesn't really need any organization. We use all this stuff, and honestly I think it's as organized as it's going to get. But that's, and I'm going to say some of this stuff isn't going to have to be organized or anything. Okay, same as this one. We use everything, and it's as organized as it's going to get. This one needs some work. This one is, honestly, I hate to say it, as good as it's going to get as well, because we use all of it, and if I start purging glasses, we won't have enough. Let's see if I can reach it. Oh, yeah. These are like special cups and extra cups and mugs and all that in case we have people over or that, or like, yeah, we're not gonna mess with this one. And I need to go through this one, so that's what I'm gonna do. Because it actually is organized, which I didn't realize until I actually got up there. Okay, so my spice cabinet always gets out of hand way too easy. I think a lot of it is mainly because we run out of something and we can't find the other bottle, so we just go buy more, and somehow then we end up with like 2 or 3 of the same spices, and some are open and some aren't, and that's kind of why we have so much right now. And I kind of already made that mistake because I had used the cinnamon and used it up and couldn't find another one, and instead of digging all the way through this cabinet, I just bought another one because I had a Walmart order coming anyway, not thinking, and now I have 2 bottles of cinnamon that are brand new. So yeah, kind of like I need to stop doing that stuff. And I think we all have that habit to a point, because we all have that one area that just gets overwhelming. What it is we just have too much stuff in this house. We will all admit that there's just too much stuff in this house, but for some reason we all have that pack rat thing. Like, we're not hoarder level, but we do have a pack rat thing. Lead example, spice cabinet, the pantry, how this table is overflowing with stuff. My storage closet is a really good example of that. But that's a different video. And yes, you can tell if certain spices are good or bad versus based off smell. So, yeah. That's what I was kind of doing. The ones that were low or I had seen the dates on is like, okay, let's see if these are actually good or bad. Okay, so all the spices that we use are down here. All the extra spices that haven't been opened, I put behind the coffee And then I put the random lemon extract on top of the other extracts. But I didn't really do anything with that. And up there is just kind of random, like, our extra salt and like plastic straws and plastic spoons and all that, and like little random cupcake papers. Okay, so this is a random cabinet. It's got kitchen appliances in it, as well as candy and some stuff that has fallen out of the junk drawer. Like seasonal stuff like candy canes and Halloween Oreos and holiday M&Ms. And this stuff is good, and we need to eat it. So, yeah. I need to remember that, but we have to hide our candy in that cabinet because Dad don't look in that cabinet. And honestly, I'm starting to think maybe we should just put this stuff out here so it does get eaten. And then I'm going through the junk drawers and this drawer. And the junk drawer didn't really need organized because I just done it. But this drawer isn't really a junk drawer. It's not really a grill drawer. It's just a random. And it did have a lot of overflow, but most of this overflow is related to what's in that drawer. And then there's this drawer with just the baking stuff and like chip clips and all that. Like, does it make sense to most people? No, but it makes sense to us. And honestly, that's just what's got to work. I would just love to have an area of like, okay, this is for baking and this is for grilling and this is for this. And like, I'm one of those people, but with 4 people in this house, then we all have a different organization style and everything. So this is just what works for us right now. Okay, so I'm not going to touch this cabinet because it is food. This cabinet is under the sink stuff. Part of this one is. Then it transitions into pots and pans and baking dishes. So I'm not going to touch this stuff because I know I use it all. And honestly, it's as organized as it's going to get. This one is a little odd because it is such a weird shape, but we have so much silverware. So I'm just going to leave it. And I also have wax melts in the back because this is the only place they fit. This is like straws and random kitchen gadgets, knives. The like big knives go in here. We have olive oil packets in here, mainly because we don't know where else to put them. But it works, so I'm leaving them. Hey, and I've been looking for my cast iron skillet handle thing. Found it. Then this needs to be gone through. If anything, just not to get rid of stuff, but just to kind of organize it a little bit better. Okay, so I know it doesn't look much better, but it works better for me. Got all my little baking things and the big serving spoon because that's the only place it would fit and not block it from closing. All my spatulas, my cheese grater, my potato masher. What I would like to do is get rid of half of this. But to be honest, that would just not work. This is dirty. Ew. It's dirty. I don't know how either. So yeah. And I also found 2 meat thermometers that are old and that don't work. And we have one right here that does. And instead of saying, yeah, we're going to get batteries and change them, I'm just going to throw them out because we never actually change the batteries. Okay, so this drawer is lids and then more random stuff. I don't even know if we have this full. So if we don't, I'm going to get rid of this lid. Okay, yeah. All of this stuff has to be in here because it won't fit anywhere else. But that works. Figured out why this drawer looked like this, and it's because it has to, or it won't shut. We do have the red lid, the bowl for the red lids. I just put it back in there. What I'd like to do is get rid of all my plastic bowls, but I don't want to do that without asking my mom first. And this can go down in this drawer where all of these are. I'm just going to take all these out and stack them up that way.
Is it perfect? No. But does it work? Yes. And it's better than it was.
Okay, so I'm finally getting back into organizing and cleaning up this kitchen a little bit. As you know, I ended up having a week completely where I was not here because my grandpa was in the hospital, and I need to get this part of the kitchen clean. Well, not necessarily clean, but decluttered and organized a little bit before I get started on Bryson's party prep. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to start with the kitchen table, and we're going to go from there.
Kitchen table cleaned off as best as I can. Honestly, we just do not have the room in the pantry right now for all the chips to go in the pantry. I can't move my brother's giant jar of peanut butter. I did move my dad's giant bottle of Jack, but yeah. And this cake pan right here needs to be moved into the pantry. But first thing, I need to go through the pantry and kind of clear out stuff that's going to be used for Bryson's party, and then organize the rest of it. I am going to give like a brief overview of like this cabinet area. This stuff is as organized as it's going to get, and everything that's over here we kind of know what it is and where everything is. And then this stuff is just the same thing. It's mason jars and dried goods and random extra bags of sugar and canning and canned goods and all that. It's just, this is our like bulk storage and our canned food storage, and that's just kind of what works for us. And then like I said, the pantry. This is a giant pain. Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera in a minute and start going through the pantry. But, whoa! Okay. But I think the first thing I'm going to do is grab one of these big baskets and put everything in it for Bryson's party. Fuck. Okay, so yeah, not necessary, not absolutely part of the kitchen declutter and organization, but it's going to help.
so this is the pantry now. This top shelf we don't mess with. This is mainly snacks and baking and just pasta and random stuff. And right now, and I did clean out a lot of it with that basket for Bryson's party. This shelf is cups, extras, like random stuff, and snacks that don't fit on this one, even though now they would fit. And this bottom part I don't want to go through, but I think I'm going to. Mainly because I want to find my cooling racks before I start baking everything. Okay, so I didn't do much with the bottom because honestly I can't really do much with it because everything in the bottom of it is organized. I still can't find what I was looking for, and I'm starting to think I may have imagined it, but I also have one more place I can look, so yeah. Okay, so I know it may not seem like a lot, but I finally got the kitchen cleaned, decluttered, and organized enough to work in and actually have the space to work in. That was mainly my goal, just to create the space to be able to work in here. And then hopefully eventually we will have room for all of this extra stuff somewhere in this house. Basically what I learned is we need to eat out of the pantry more, but mainly what I learned in all of this is we need to pay more attention to what we have and eat more out of our pantry and shop more out of our pantry before we go to the store. And a lot of this stuff, like I said, is going to be used for Bryson's party, so that takes up. So that gets rid of a lot of it. But, yeah, either way, I hope you enjoyed this kitchen declutter and organization video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Hit the red subscribe button down below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.